What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks NBA edition. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video and goes a long way for you. You become apprised whenever great betting content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Oh my gosh, we had 15 MLB games on Monday, 14 of them on Tuesday, and now 13 NBA games. There's a lot of things to bet on. Just throwing it out there. We'll see. The NCAA championship game is just tipping off. But again, I'm out here grinding for you. I was making sure I got everything done, covering my ins and outs. Pay attention to the news. So I missed you on Monday for the NBA. No NBA games. But Tuesday, this is a week of unpredictability. And then spots where we do have predictability, you could see some shortened rotations. Teams that want to win basketball games. Teams that are going to just lose basketball games anyway because they're terrible. Even if they wanted to, but they don't want to, but they might want to, but they don't want to. See what I'm getting at? It's going to be a wild, wild week. But because you got me, because you've got everybody else here at the Odd Chopper channel, the Odd Shop going on every single Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. Eastern time to 5 p.m. Eastern time, live betting content that can give you more in-depth analysis. It is going to be important. I try to help you guys get closing line value the night before. I'll talk through some of the scenarios where I think the standings really, really matter, but I'm probably going to cite them at just about every single spot just for a reference point. There's only one lock on the card for 13 of them. You'll have to find out where a little bit later, but looking forward to this, just like you should be looking forward to if you live in the great states of just 4 of them: Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia. If you're one of those 4 states, congratulations. Bet365 has $200 in bet credits. When you go to the video description box below, click on the link, bet $10. Well, you deposit $10 or more, but you bet just one measly dollar, $1 on anything. You're going to get $200 in bet credits. It's hard to beat that deal. It's only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But no time to dilly-dally. I've done it enough here. Check out MLB, Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks for the 14 gamer. MLB is underway. We're having a great day here right now. Pittsburgh, yay, great start. And then Kansas City just murdering Jose Barrios. It's another year, but the same good stuff. So with that, we are heading to 13 games in the association. Good to be back. Let's get to the picks. And our first game right out of the gate, oh my goodness. Want to see some injury news? Here's some injury news. Toronto visiting Charlotte. Kelly Oubre out. Gordon Hayward out. Charlotte also had Dennis Smith Jr. They sat out last time. Apparently he's an asset now. They're trying to protect him as an asset. Mark Williams has the Q tag next to him, even though he got it was an ankle injury. I think he's going to end up playing basketball, though, here in this spot. Still no LaMelo Ball. That seems pretty important, too. But, I mean, Theo Maledon shorted him. He played almost 43 minutes. It was like 41 minutes that we got out of Theo Maledon, even though I went out and bet under on his PRA. Good times. 41 minutes. What are we doing here, Charlotte? Oh, yeah, you're just running people into the ground because you don't care about winning basketball games. You know who does? The Toronto Raptors. As we look at the standings, they are 9th right now, tied with the Atlanta Hawks, but they're back because the Hawks have the tiebreak there. We'll talk about the Hawks' mediocrity. They're coming up a little bit later, but they're one spot ahead of Chicago here. They'd be hosting Chicago in that bottom end play-in spot. Weird little situation that we're running into there. You want to be finishing 7th or 8th. That gives you 2 cracks at it. As opposed to 1, you got to win 2 of them then, and it's a whole thing. So be paying attention to the news there. But either way, I am going to be going to the Toronto side of this one, even though there is some injury news to be paying attention on their side. OG Anunoby, Gary Trent, both of them questionable entering this game. Maybe they take a load off Annie. Maybe take a load off for free. But I'm just leaning minus 14.5 Toronto here at the moment. Not all that appealing of a spot. I'll just be thinking about it, wishing, hoping. Not shorting Theo Maledon if he's going to play 41 minutes again, but just be paying attention to that news. Lots of better spots on the card. We're heading not to Miami, but to Detroit, the Motor City. Let's party. Heat, Pistons. Well, one of these teams is going to play in the playoffs. The other one is not. The Miami Heat right now 7th. That is not a great spot to be. Brooklyn playing Minnesota. So they're going to be scoreboard watching here with just 4 games left to go for both Brooklyn, both Miami. There's some shifting that can happen there. There's some definite shifting, but just 2 games up from that 6 seed, that coveted 6 seed, where you don't have to play in the play-in tournament. That is what you're gunning for. So a gigantic game here for Miami. They're huge favorites, and they should be. The thing to pay attention to here, Bam Adebayo, he's expected to be playing here, but he has a hip injury and just talked about how he wasn't 100%. We'll jump back over to that here in 1 second. But Detroit, we know by now they have a lot of people out. Marvin Bagley's now going to be out for this one. James Wiseman, maybe Jalen Duren walks into some more minutes, but it's probably going to be Omer Rui shows up in more minutes. It's Omer Rui. I'm not going to be betting any of his props for better or for worse, but I am going to be looking at Bam Adebayo props, and not in a good way. Because again, Detroit, this is a game that could definitely get wonky with an 11.5-point spread. They could also try to limit some of his minutes coming down the stretch if they're winning, if they're doing well. Plus, at some point, Yurt Seven's got to play some minutes, right? I mean, they're really holding still here. Udonis Haslem ahead there. They ended up starting Cody Zeller the other night, played 29 minutes. So in the event that for some reason Bam Adebayo goes by the wayside, they've shown a proclivity to just play him for a massive stretch of minutes now, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Shout out that one. Omer Yurt 7. Kind of a legend up in those parts. It's my hometown, no big deal. Even though I haven't been there for a while. Either way, I'm looking at Bam Adebayo. His PRA sitting at 31.5. It's a little bit high for my liking. Again, lots of ways that this can go against him. For the other part of it, he's not healthy. He's not 100%. Why are they going to play through him routinely? I think you're fading the points for the most part, even though he's been proficient there, averaging nearly 21 per game on the season. But blowout risk, injury risk, Cody Zeller now there being able to fit in some minutes, being a useful part of that rotation, I suppose. And he's played the backup center minutes here the last few. But Cody Zeller, pay attention to that news if there's no Bam. But if he's playing, and it's expected to, I'm going to be shorting him the under 31.5 for a small play against Detroit. We go from shorting one big man to shorting another big man. I would not want to say that to either one of their faces, that's for sure. But the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Orlando Magic. Orlando, yay, playing for pride. Go team. Even though, did you watch what they did with Paolo Banchero? They blew Detroit out of the water. They only played him 29 minutes. Didn't have to play him any further there. I still think Paolo Banchero gets that 34-ish minutes of run in competitive spots. Markelle Fultz only had to play 24 minutes. Again, I don't want to read into that too much. Otherwise, I would be taking a lot of unders on the Orlando side if I thought that that was something they were planning on coming down to the end of the season. There are going to be teams that we want to be on high alert for stuff like that. That's more so like the last game or last two games of the season. There's enough still with a week left where I'm not too concerned about them. And one team I'm also not concerned about caring about winning basketball games, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are second in adjusted net rating, but 49-30. They are fourth. Yes, fourth in the standings in the East right now. They are 3 games clear of New York, so cool for them. Philadelphia has a tough spot. We're going to talk about the Boston game there. So if Philadelphia slides back, then they could just be 1.5 back, and there's a realistic chance. But if they end up winning this game and Philly ends up winning, you could be looking at Cleveland trying to shut it down and get ready to go for the playoffs here. They'd be far enough clear of New York, where they would be solidified there in that 4 spot, and they'd be far enough behind Boston and Philly that they wouldn't necessarily go and try to go achieve that one. So Cleveland, that's a team that should be on your radar to wind things down. Oh, and speaking of Cleveland, this one's for you. Jarrett Allen, back in the mix, has not played a basketball game until, well, he played on Sunday against Indiana. 27 minutes. Immediately, who does that cut into? It cuts into Evan Mobley. I tried to short as many props as I could in that last second. Didn't end up pulling the trigger on it. Didn't end up getting enough in there. He ended up playing well, so I'm glad it didn't work out. But 34 PRA that he had against the Pacers. Orlando, not playing at the same pace or with the same defensive inefficiencies as what the Pacers are. It's on the road. Cleveland could also be trying to protect guys, maybe scoreboard watching, seeing how Philadelphia is playing. So lots of ways that this game is just with a 215.5 total, that there aren't that many PRAs available. And Jarrett Allen, maybe give him some run, give him some opportunity to spread his wings here as they grind down to the end of the season. But of course, Cleveland's going to play this one straight up more than likely. But do you see 39 minutes for Evan Mobley in this spot? If you do, this might be more difficult, but I see him more around the 36-38 here. Whatever. I like the under at 30.5. It projects out nicely for me. Nothing crazy. Again, same situation as the Bam Adebayo one where I don't want to go crazy with it. Looking around a half unit for both of them, but yet another under that jumps to the top of my board. I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. I have no idea what to do with this basketball game. It is a headache. We have Milwaukee going into Washington, and it's not just the Washington side that's gotten exponentially more difficult. No Kristaps Porzingis, no Bradley Beal, no Kyle Kuzma, and now no Monty Morris either. He hasn't played since the 31st. He's been out the last couple. They're starting. I mean, Kispert just went berserk in the Garden, played 34 minutes, 29 actual points. He's put up 27 and 29 his last two. You want to ride the wave, have fun? I'm not riding any Corey Kispert wave. Shout out Gonzaga. Seems like a nice orderly fellow. But Chris Middleton out for the Milwaukee Bucks on that side. Grayson Allen as well got dinged up. He's going to be sitting. And you got Javon Carter coming back into this rotation then. So, I mean, 1-for-1 swap there with Grayson Allen, who has that ankle injury. But no, Chris Middleton is obviously the highlight here. And I think it's just enough ding where I don't want to be going nuts with this. Milwaukee does want to win basketball games, of course. They are still first in the East, 2 games up. So I expect them to be playing this one straight up. But even if they do, Washington, the underrated part about talking about late season basketball is that people are playing for contracts. People are still playing for their jobs on the Washington side. And I don't think they've struck lightning in a bottle with guys like Johnny Davis or Jordan Goodwin or anything of this nature. But I think they're just serviceable enough. And this spread is just long enough at 12.5 on the road, where I think there's better places to go in a 13-game NBA slate straight. I don't know why I said that. It's like a royal flush. Yahtzee straight. Can you tell I've covered 44 games of sports today? Milwaukee minus 12.5. Just leaning. I'll think about it more tomorrow. To the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Fun fact, the Minnesota Timberwolves lost to the Portland Trailblazers as 19.5-point favorites on Sunday. The worst defeat by a team, according to the spread, straight up, since 1995. The Minnesota Timberwolves now need to win basketball games coming down the stretch just to make the play-in tournament because they lost to the Portland Trailblazers at home as 19.5-point favorites. They're going to play the Brooklyn Nets here, which is kind of an interesting spot because, again, Brooklyn, they are jostling for position themselves. They're trying to hold that lead against Miami. So these are two teams that are playing this basketball game straight up, which is generally a blessing in disguise in certain things. But I will say a lot of these props, pretty difficult. I don't think you're going to run into Brooklyn doing any of that resting their starters crap in the fourth quarter if they're down 12, down 14, like they've done in some of these spots with Mikal Bridges. Oh, we came back against Denver's bench. Oh, good job by us. I miss Jason. Well, I don't miss Jason Kidd because he was never there. Steve Nash. There we go. Other point guard. Other GOAT point guard. Interesting checkered past. We'll talk about that on another date. But as for this basketball game, the one guy who's been just pouring money into our pockets of late has been Spencer Dinwiddie, and his assist props are unfortunately inflated a little bit more towards that over than what we're looking at. Sitting at 9.5, been slamming some overs of late. 3 straight. He's gone over that number here in Minnesota. Again, you're going to get 34 minutes there from one Spencer Dinwiddie. Feels like a spot where I want to be invested on some of these overs, but I'm looking more at the points prop, and I hate that it's projecting out better for me because it feels like Mikal Bridges gets in these spots where he gets in the zone and the ball just sits in his hands and there's no rotation whatsoever. He puts up 44, 27, 42, and 30 points his last 4. So, I mean, it makes sense why it's happening. And you're running into Spencer Dinwiddie being more of a distributor. But against Mike Conley, against this matchup, and getting Jaden McDaniels assuming to be playing more on Mikal Bridges on the perimeter, feel like this is a spot where we might want to be firing up the over on 17.5 points for Spencer Dinwiddie. So again, I have not pulled the trigger on this one. It is a lean. A lot of things. I'm showing discretion here. I'm trying to be smart, not trying to bet every damn thing on the board. I have 94 units in play on Tuesday. I already have a lot of units in play on Tuesday, so I'm going to just chill out. But I'm looking at the top of this board. Spencer Dinwiddie seems like the play who would be the best from the Brooklyn side. Maybe pairing it with his threes. We'll see. If you want to know if this ends up on my card, hit me up at Eric Lindquist on Eric Lindquist on Twitter. Eric Lindquist on Twitter. That's where you want to hit me up. I'm tired. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. I can't do that Bulls theme song. Dun, dun, dun. Makes me want to watch The Last Dance. But these two teams in the East didn't really enjoy that Jordan tenure, but they enjoy it now. 2022, 2023. This NBA season going well. Michael Jordan, terrible owner of the Charlotte Hornets, trying to get rid of him. But either way, let's talk about the main event. Boston taking on the 76ers. Looking at the standings, not that hard to do. 54-24 Boston taking on 51-27 Philadelphia. You play 82 games in a season. You have 4 games left for both of these teams coming down the stretch. And I wanted to just kind of look ahead here on both of their schedules kind of made sense to do in this kind of a situation. And Philadelphia playing catch up to Boston, it's more intriguing who they have coming down to the stretch because it's kind of a tough stretch. Boston, Miami at home, not ideal. Atlanta on the road, and Atlanta's playing for position, and Brooklyn, who will definitely be playing for something in the nightcap there. So, Philadelphia, this is kind of a Custer's last stand. Joel Embiid, you want that MVP? You need that MVP? This is your time. This is your dance. Live every moment, leave nothing to chance. So, I hate that song. Why did I do that? But Jaylen Brown is questionable here. That is the massive piece of news on the Boston side. He's been useful at basketball over the course of his entire Boston tenure, even though now he's got this weird rapport with, well, not rapport, the opposite of rapport with Boston media. It's been a really weird circumstance. If he ends up getting all NBA first team or second team, that would just be hilarious because they will not be able to afford him and Jason Tatum. That is just a fact. And Philadelphia on the other side, completely healthy, completely ready to rock. So, Philly, they need this game more. You want to be holding on to 3 there in the East? You want to have any chance at catching Boston coming down the stretch here? This is your moment. Joel Embiid, make it happen, dude. Like button on the money line. It's going to be a part of parlays. I might parlay some things on Tuesday. I'm feeling that loopy right now. Not my MO, but minus 130. I think you could be laying the juice on that and be just fine. There's a chance you get the Brown news to go against, or to go for you, should I say, and move this line even further. But regardless, I'm getting a perfectly healthy James Harden and Joel Embiid out there. Let's go. Hi, friends. If you live in one of these 4 states, Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia, this offer is for you at Bet365. And hey, look at that happy little guy on the screen. He's going to be going away soon because it sounds like as we get towards the end of this NBA season, the Bet365 is going to be getting rid of this promotion. It is too good. So sign up for it now in the video description box below. Click on that link, deposit $10 or more at Bet365. And when you bet $1, just $1 on anything, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets just for trying out their product. So take $10, deposit it over there. Bet $1 on any of the picks that I threw out here or in MLB, Lindy's, Leans, Likes, and Locks, whatever you want. Get $200 in bonus bets right now. So what are you waiting for? Take advantage of it. Again, just 4 states where this is available, that being Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia. Congratulations if you live in one of those 4 states. This offer is for you. It's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all, back to the picks. I really don't know what to do here either, and I'm just being honest about such things. We have the Atlanta Hawks. We've got the Chicago Bulls. Both of these teams inside of the play-in game spots right now. 8th are the Atlanta Hawks, 39-39. Did you know that they have been around 500 or within a game of 500 for like 3 months? It's the wildest stat that I've ever seen. Just insane stuff. They can't win enough. They can't lose enough. They just sit there at the Meridian. They're 500. They're 500 against Eastern Conference teams, 500 against Western Conference teams. I think they're average. That's what it comes down to. But Trae Young, questionable. That is on the radar here, going up against these Bulls who are 10th. Yes, they're sitting 10th. They're going to be just fine. They're guaranteed to be in that play-in game spot unless just somehow they lose every game and Washington or Orlando wins every game. Not a likely outcome here, that's for sure. But on the road here, would be nice for them to try to get one down. But either way, I think Chicago, they're going to try to solidify their spot in the play-in game, possibly just coast, make sure everybody's healthy and ready to rock, ready to roll, doing their thing. So I'm leaning towards the Chicago side. I hate these narrative-based things where I think Trae Young could end up sitting. I think Chicago, though, is probably the team that wants this one more, but it's such a weird thing to break down towards the end of the season. So as much as my spreadsheet says, hey, this should be a like, I'm going to go the lean category. I'll think about it, take a nap tomorrow morning, actually sleep a little bit. Who am I kidding? I'm going to bet a lot of baseball and basketball. So that's what I'm going to do. Chicago, probably not going to be on the card, though. Oh, it's just lean central here lately. We have the Denver Nuggets. We have the Houston Rockets. I almost said Astros. That would be the first time that I've screwed that one up, but I held back. Found a way to hold it back. Denver, what a win that they had over Golden State. Even better because I had a +2.5 Golden State ticket. I cannot believe they covered. I took my dog on a walk. I was so upset watching that basketball game. They were down 10 with like 2 minutes. Golden State. Only Golden State with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. There's no other team that would have found a way to cover that one for me. That is for darn tootin'. But yeah, does Nikola Jokic play here against Houston? I don't know. They want to be trying to lock up this 1 seed, no doubt about it. Jamal Murray is probable now, so that's a plus for them. He played awesome in that Golden State game. A little too awesome. It was aggravating me. But Denver, 3 games up on Memphis as double-digit favorites here, or nearly double-digit favorites. Again, you would definitely want to be on this number if you knew Nikola Jokic was playing, but I have zero idea. Pay close attention to the news. We were able to get that Golden State plus 2.5 bet in the premium Discord, which you can sign up below for using promo code Lindy. We were able to get that bet in right before news dropped that Jokic was closer to doubtful. When that news comes out, this number is changing for better or for worse. There's no way around it. Jokic matters that much, no question. But Houston, same situation. No Jayshawn Tate. Everybody else playing. Şengün starting to play some minutes. 47-38 against the Lakers. They got completely waxed, and they don't care about defense anymore, and they pretended like they cared for a little while and played him like 30 minutes a game. But now he's getting the run that he always should have. There you go. He'd get waxed by Jokic on the defensive end, that's for sure. But I'm going to be leaning Denver minus 9.5, but I have to say, be ready to react to news. Have alerts on your phone. You can get those everywhere. Have them fired up from the news guy in the premium Discord. We've got a guy. We have a guy who gives you the news. So take advantage of it. Minus 9.5. I would love it if I was able to react to Jokic. I would hate it to bet it and then have Jokic ruled out. Our last in a string of leans, and then we can just get to the good stuff and get to the late night hammers. Portland, I hate you, taking on the Memphis Grizzlies here. 18.5 point dogs, and I did a whole 17.5 point bit once upon a time with Milwaukee. I can't even make that joke because Minnesota was 19.5 point favorites and found a way to just screw around and find out that, I don't know, Shaedon Sharp's that dude? Is Shaedon Sharp that dude? Shaedon Sharp is not that dude. Although, did put up just another 27 burger, just continues to put up tons of points here, absent Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, Anthony Simons. But as you know by now, Portland, they're packing it in, so that's cool. Memphis, on the other side, not packing it in. However, with Denver being up there at the number 1 spot, I think what they're doing is just kind of jostling for position, trying to stay ahead of Sacramento for that 2 spot. Denver gets that great Houston matchup. They'll be scoreboard watching, of course. But Memphis, the only piece of news you're waiting on, Dylan Brooks being questionable. Right hip soreness. He's a terrible offensive player. Decent enough defender, so maybe matters. But I'd be actually leaning towards plus 18.5 with Portland, and not just because I just watched my Timberwolves lose to them. No. Because 18.5 is a lot to give to any NBA team, even this AAA version. Even though we bet Sacramento against Portland, but those were 13.5, 14.5. I have this being more like 16.5. So 2 points, is that good enough at this large of a spread for you to fire it up? I don't know, but it's simply a lean that's on my card. Let's start talking about actual bets, shall we? To Sacramento, who I just talked about, number 3 out there in the West, 5 games back of Denver, so they're not going to catch them. 3 games back of Memphis. They could catch them. They'd need a lot of things to go their way, like Portland, to pull off another miracle. So, just saying, their goal, win 1 game of their last 4, stay ahead of Phoenix for that 3 seed, and be ready to rock with some home court advantage. So, that'd be great stuff for them. But either way, they're taking on the Pelicans here. And just like everybody at this bottom cellar of the West, there are ways that things go very, very poorly here. You have the Clippers, Golden State, the Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Thunder, all within 3 games in the West. It is unprecedented what we're looking at here. And New Orleans, really the first team to highlight out of that grouping here, because we're going to get to a couple of other ones here next. But I'm looking at the Pelicans as a team that will just do whatever it takes to win. It doesn't really matter. You're going to have Jonas Valanciunas out there for more minutes in these kind of spots too, against a true center like Domantas Sabonis. He's been playing 25, 28 minutes. They've been closing with Larry Nance again. It's been annoying if you've been on any of those overs. But yeah, back to 20 minutes and 3 straight for Larry Nance Jr. Just pay attention to these small rotations that could show up in the prop market from time to time. But no total out here yet, so can't even analyze that one. But I can analyze Domantas Sabonis because we have some props available to us. And for whatever reason, Domantas Sabonis, who on the season has been averaging a cool, crisp 7.2 assists per game, in a spot that Sacramento absolutely wants to win a basketball game, has a 6.5 assist prop with barely any juice on the over. Yeah, we like that. We definitely like that. I have him for 7.8 assists here. Sure, you run into Herb Jones, Trey Murphy Jr., whomever else on the interior there, but Domantas Sabonis has been out there creating, and I think these assist props have just been a little bit wrong of late. Even though it's gone down, you have De'Aaron Fox, who's been taking on more of the ball handling, has had some of these spiked assist games, but Malik Monk, being somebody who's questionable here, if he gets ruled out, this is definitely a bet I'd want to take, mainly because Malik Monk doesn't play off the ball as much, definitely has the ball in his hand, creates from that perspective, and has added 5 and 6 assists now the last 2, has been more of a willing distributor. I think that stripped away some of the luster, if you will, for Domantas Sabonis, and why we have not even gotten close to a triple-double bet in a while here. Of course, he did it the day after I bet it, locked it on this show. But whatever, that's a conversation for a different time too. Over 6.5 assists, really like it if you get Malik Monk out. To the Lakers, taking on the Utah Jazz here, and shout out Anthony Davis just going berserk here. Probable for Tuesday. In 30 minutes, put up 40 and 9 against Houston. That's good. He's had 38 in back-to-back before that against Minnesota and Chicago, all in wins. He is just taking this team to the promised land. Him and Austin Reeves earlier, just going on heat check mode. LeBron James was questionable, ended up playing in that Houston spot. I still think this is one of those, like, LeBron James, why would you want to be resting him in any way, shape, or form in games you need to be winning? Because LA, 7th now in the West. I can't believe that they found a way to assemble shooting on this basketball squad. Wild stuff. But on the Utah side, there's really no chance that they have to be jumping into the playoffs. They're 36 and 42. They would have to win out, basically. There's Dallas ahead of them, Oklahoma City ahead of them. They'd have to put a lot of things together. You have Walker Kessler now, who's already been ruled out for this game. Lauri Markkanen, who's questionable for this game. They're 7.5-point dogs, still without Jordan Clarkson. Colin Sexton, though, questionable for this one. That would be a huge piece for them to get back here. But still, I'm going to be leaning towards the Lakers side of things. They've been playing really good basketball. They finally have the shooting that AD and LeBron always needed around them. It's just that I don't have it projected that much differently. It's 9. Like, 1.5. Do I really want to be betting something and forcing it in on a 13-game slate with more totals to be coming? I really don't. I think I'm going to find prop exposure on this card. I think -7.5, just a little too thin. On a different card, maybe it would have made it. And to the most interesting game of the evening window for me, the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Golden State Warriors. Let's play the standing games, shall we? Golden State, 6th, tied with the Clippers right now. Clippers have the tiebreak there, clinging to a half-game lead on the Lakers and on the Pelicans here. They want to finish out with a flurry. 3 games left to go. And Oklahoma City on the back end here, they are 10th. They would currently be the last team into that play-in game, would be facing the Timberwolves in Minnesota if the play-in game started on Tuesday, which it does not. Thank God. Maybe Minnesota can play their way into actual standing. We'll find out. Lots of moving in the West here, but you need to see what's going to happen here with Oklahoma City. SGA, everybody looks like they're going to be playing on the Oklahoma City side, and I think that that's fair to assume. And Andrew Wiggins, not going to be playing on Tuesday, but sounds like he might return at the end of the week. That would be a huge boost for them defensively in so many ways, just from a morale standpoint. He was a difference maker on their title run last year. Would just be intriguing to see him back out there. But everybody else healthy on the Golden State side. And I think that they just go berserk here. I think they bring it. Another narrative-based thing coming off of a pretty tough loss. A Jokic-less Denver team up in the Mile High City, getting back home. We've talked about it all season long, how crazy some of their home road splits are, and they're just awesome at home. It is what it is, fam. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't really believe it to a certain extent, but I guess the record is what it is. 32-8 at home. I think they throw it down on Oklahoma City here and SGA and find a way to blow out the Thunder, knock the Thunder out of the playoff picture entirely. Golden State -7.5. My lock, the only lock on the board for Tuesday's slate. I have this projected double digits, even with SGA Giddy. I'm sure Jalen Williams will find a way to just go nuts now too, but I think Golden State, too much shooting. They're just going to put it down. Just get ready. And the last game of the night, the San Antonio Spurs are 18.5-point dogs to the Phoenix Suns. Thanks for coming. Have a nice day. Drive home safely. Phoenix completely healthy. Getting Kevin Durant back into the mix here. He's played 33 and 35 33 and 35 minutes. Last game of the night, thank God. has been going nuts. 30 and 35 points. That feels really good to start seeing that usage come up. I think they want to continue to give him work, continue to get him acclimated here. So even in blowout scenarios, I still think you're looking at Kevin Durant perhaps playing like the last stretch of a fourth quarter, just continuing to get him into the flow of the offense. They played closer games. Again, this is more of just a theory considering 7-point and 10-point differentials against Denver and OKC the last two for Kevin Durant. This game is obviously projected to be far wonkier than that one, but Devin Booker had been eating up a lot of the usage with Kevin Durant on the floor together. Not going forward. It's going to be Kevin Durant continuing to cut more and more into Booker rather than the inverse. So, pretty simple spot here for me. San Antonio, I don't even really want to talk about them. Devin Vassell, probably not going to play basketball. Keldon Johnson, do they just have him go out and wave to everybody? I doubt it. He's doubtful, so he'll be sitting on the sidelines cheering on Sandro Mamukashvili. Shout out the triple-double for Trey Jones, absolutely from nowhere. 17, 11, and 10 the other day. But Phoenix, Kevin Durant, that is the prime attraction here. 26.5 points. Surprised to see a number this low coming off of his usage the last few. I get the blowout concerns. Don't go nuts with it. But Kevin Durant, over 26.5. I like it to finish out the night. And that does it for an insane edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks NBA edition. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell on the way out. Check out Bet365 in the link below. Bet $1, get $200 in bet credits. Yeah, got to be 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But that's just in 4 states: Colorado, New Jersey, Ohio, and Virginia. Let me know in the comment section below as well what your favorite plays are for Tuesday's slate. Lots going to be in flux. So if you have questions, hit me up on Twitter at Eric Lindquist or in the comment section below. I'm always looking, always watching. Look at the baby. Look at the baby. I got you covered. But until Wednesday, where hopefully, we get some more news, kind of get back in the flow of NBA after a Monday off, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.